Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear students around the world. Welcome to your new English YouTube channel and classes. English course level 1 A1, lesson 87. In today's lesson, we'll continue our series of past simple form, lesson 3 or part 3. By the end of this mini lesson 87, part 3, you'll have focused on known, learned, and practiced the following objective. English verbs in the past simple form, lesson 3 or part 3. As I said in the two previous lessons, before we start dealing with sentences in the past simple tense, I see it essential or important to have some practice first of the past simple verb form. As I said in the two previous lessons, there are two kinds of verbs in past simple. Regular verbs which take ed at the end of the verb, for example, call, called, or irregular verbs which change the internal vowel a, e, I, o, u, or a consonant sometimes already. For example, leave, left. So here we dropped the a and we changed ve to ft. So this is the change that happened to this verb. Today we're going to focus only in the positive form. As I said in the two previous lessons, what we need to learn is just the positive form, because in the negative and in the question we don't have ed for regular verbs. So I called is past simple because we have ed positive. In the negative, if you write I didn't called, it's not correct. Why? Because didn't is enough to show that the verb is in the past simple. So you don't need to write ed, because when we have didn't, we put just the infinitive. So the correct answer is I didn't call you. If you write I didn't called you, it's not correct. Why? Because ed, we have it just in the positive. We don't have it in the negative and in the question. Let's see the question. If you write, did you called me yesterday? It's not correct. Why? Because we don't have ed in the past simple in the question. So the correct question is, did you call me yesterday? So this is the correct one. Remember that ed, we use it just in positive. We don't use it in negative and we don't use it in the question. Let's practice verb call with all subject pronouns in the past simple. I called, you called, he called, she called, it called, we called, you called, they called. I didn't pronounce it cold. Cold, it means it's the opposite of hot, but I pronounce it cold, cold, not cold, no, cold, cold. Let's continue. Left, I left. The same thing we are going to explain with left. So left is positive, I left. The past of leave, to leave a place, to go from a place. So I left is past simple of leave. So what is the negative? If you write I didn't left, it's not correct. Why? Because left, we have it just in the positive form. We don't have it in the negative form and we don't have it in the question. So the correct sentence in the negative is I didn't leave. I didn't leave. So in the negative, the verb must be in the infinitive. And the question, if you write, did you left? It's not correct. Why? Because we don't have left in the question. So we have just the infinitive of left is leave. So the correct question, did you leave? You will say to you, why? Because when you write didn't, it means that the verb is in the negative in the past simple. And when you write did, it means that it is a question in the past simple without You don't need to conjugate the verb in the past, in the negative, and in the question. Let's practice verb leave in the past simple. Positive. I left. You left. He left. She left. It left. We left. You left. They left. Call. We saw it, so we are not going to repeat it. Leave. The same. Let. So we say let me alone. Let. So I let, you let, he let, she let, it let, we let, you let, they let. Some students may ask the question, what's the difference between present simple let and past simple let? The answer I gave it in the lesson in which we studied verb cat. I told you what's the difference between cat in the present simple and cat in the past simple. The answer is with I, you, we, you, they, there is no change. But the change is just with he, she, it. In present simple we use s. So if you see in a paragraph or in a book he lets with s, it means that the verb is in present simple. And if you see he let without s, some students they say, oh, it's not correct, it should be with s. It should be with s if it is in present simple, but if it is in the past it's without s. This is what you should remember. So the difference between let in present simple and past simple is just in three pronouns: he, she, it. In present simple with s, in past simple without s. Let's practice this verb again. I let, you let, he let, she let, it let, we let, you let, they let. Let's continue. Make. Some students pronounce it mak. It's not mak. Make. In this verb, we are going to change K with D. So I told you the rule is to change the internal vowel. So that's the rule. Okay, 99%. But sometimes, or rarely, we change the consonant. So here one case we change, or two cases we change the consonant. So we are going to change K to D. But students, they pronounce this verb mad. Mad, it means crazy. It's an adjective. It's M-A-D. But this verb is pronounced made. Made. Like make, made. I made a mistake, for example. I made breakfast. So, I made. You made. He made. She made. It made. We made. You made. They made. Mean. Mean, it means signify. What do you mean? Okay. What does it mean? So this is the verb. So mean, but in the past we pronounce it meant. It's not meant. No, meant. I meant. You meant. He meant. She meant. It meant. We meant. You meant. They meant. Let's go to verb with double E, meet. So as I said before, when we have a verb with double E, we drop one E and add T at the end. So we are going to drop one E, but we have the T. We are not going to add another T, so without adding T. So just we drop E. Met. I met you yesterday. So we say nice to meet you in present. In the past, I met you. I met. You met. He met. She met. It met. We met. You met. They met. Let's go to the next verb. Pay. So this verb, we are going to change Y to ID, but we pronounce it paid. I paid. You paid. he paid, she paid, it paid, we paid, you paid, they paid. Put doesn't change. So the same like present, like past. It's like cat, it's like let. Now we have put. What's the difference between put in present and put in past? The difference is just with he, she, it. As I said, some students, when they see he put without s, they say no, it's a mistake, it's an error. No, it's not a mistake. If we have s, it's present simple. If we don't have s, it's past simple. You should remember this. It's very important. So the difference between put in present simple and in past simple is just with he, she, it. With he, she, it, he puts with s, she puts with s, it puts with s. Other pronouns, past and present, the same. I put, you put, he puts, she puts, it puts, we put, you put, they put. Let's go to the next verb. Student pronounce this verb read. It's not read, it's ride. Now we are going to change, in the past we are going to change I to O. The student pronounce it rod. It's not rod, it's road. O. As I said, in the past you need to pronounce O, 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 road. So to ride a bicycle or to ride an animal, an elephant, a horse, a donkey, a camel. So I or a bike or a motorbike, I rode, you rode, he rode, she rode, it rode, we rode, you rode, they rode. Ring. So ring, it means to call. We are going to change I to A, but we pronounce it rang. It's not a rang, no, rang. I rang, it means I called you. I rang you. I called you. So I rang, you rang, he rang, she rang, it rang, we rang, you rang, they rang. Let's continue. Run. So it's strong, a run. We are going to change U to A, and we pronounce it ran, not run, no, ran, ran. I ran, you ran, he ran, she ran, it ran, we ran, you ran, they ran. Say, we are going to change Y to ID. But this verb, many students pronounce it badly. They pronounce it said. No, sorry. They pronounce it said or said. Said, it's not correct. Said, it's not correct. So the correct pronunciation of this verb is said, like read. Said. Said. So you need to practice this verb a lot because students use it a lot in English. So all the time, every day we use this verb, said. So when you pronounce, don't look at the word, don't look at the letters, so just pronounce it like this. It's written S-A-I-D, but it's pronounced in another and different way. Said. I said to you. I said. You said. He said. She said. It said. We said. You said. They said. Let's continue. Tell. When we have a verb that ends with double L, so we change E to O and the final L to D. But the problem, the students, they say, I told you. Told. It's not told. As I said, O, we need to pronounce it O. I told you. Told. O. Told. I told you. You told me. Not you told me, no. So I told, you told, he told, she told, it told, we told, you told, they told. Let's go to verb C. Do you remember the rule of double E? I said if we have double E, we drop one E and we put T at the end. So this verb will be said. No, it's not correct. This verb is an exception. So here we are not going to change to drop one E and to put T. No, it's not correct. Because we are going to have another verb. So this verb change. We are going to drop double E and we change it with AW. But the problem of the students is the pronunciation. Students, they pronounce this verb badly. They pronounce it sow. It's not sow. It's pronounced so. So O. We don't pronounce W. And A is pronounced O. So I saw you yesterday. Saw you yesterday. So let's practice with me this verb. So remember these two verbs, said and saw. Okay, said and saw. Okay, I saw, you saw, he saw, she saw, it saw, we saw, they saw. That's it. So try to practice it a lot. Look, the past with ed, but the problem with the students, they pronounce it looked. As I said before, we are going to make a lesson in which we are going to study the rules of ed, how we pronounce ed with verbs in the past simple. So when we have a verb that ends with k plus ed, we don't pronounce it d, we pronounce it t. Looked, looked. If you say I looked, it's not correct. I looked, you looked, he looked, she looked, it looked, we looked, you looked, it's not correct. It's bad pronunciation. So the correct pronunciation is I looked with T at the end. I looked, you looked, he looked, she looked, it looked, we looked, you looked, they looked. Let's continue. Show, we add ed, showed. Not showed, no, showed. E is silent. I showed you something. So I showed, you showed, he showed, it showed, we showed, you showed, they showed. Shut doesn't change. The same as I said with cut, with let, with put, now with shut. What's the difference between this past simple and present simple? The problem just with he, she, it. If you find he shut without s, you know that it's past simple. If it is with s, it's present simple. Let's practice this verb. I shut, you shut, he shut, she shut, it shut, we shut, you shut, they shut. Sing, it's like ring. We change I to a, but we need to pronounce it sang, not song, no, sang. I sang, you sang, he sang, she sang, it sang, we sang, you sang, they sang. We stop here. That's the end of today's lesson 87. Until then, see you soon in lesson 88 on our two YouTube channels, House School Hassane and House College Hassane. Please support our channel by clicking like if you like the video or the content of the video. Write a small comment, share our videos with your family and friends, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do subscribe to help us continuing in delivering you to English lessons on YouTube. Thank you, goodbye, and good luck.